Oh yeah, Hugh Jackman heard him. Hi and welcome to Flawsome Talk. I'm Justin Flo, and here on my channel I talk about my good and bad experiences in Hollywood working as an entertainment reporter, and as you know, a lot about the Blake Lively Justin Baldoni drama. Yesterday I talked a little bit about my drama too, because I had a bike accident and I just flew over the bike and hit the road with my chin, and yeah, I'm a little bruised and still in a little bit of shock. But I'm okay. I think maybe I have a minor concussion, so I've been taking it a little bit easy. But I'm here and I'm alive, and from now on, I will also try to wear a helmet. It's stupid not to do that. But anyways, thank you guys so much for all your sweet messages after I spoke about that on yesterday here on my channel. So this week is going to be pretty exciting, hopefully. So tomorrow is July 1st, and that means the deadline for discovery. So all the positions and everything has to be done by July 1st. So they've been really busy the last few weeks, and hopefully they got everything they wanted. I hope that Brian Friedman finally got to depose Blake Lively and everyone else, and that he has gotten access to those text messages from Taylor Swift. We'll have to wait and see this week. I'm sure that we're going to get some more information. Also, about the Van Zandt sham lawsuit that I've been talking about lately a lot. So there's been so much back and forth because Van Zandt doesn't want to give the information about what really happened when they filed that sham lawsuit to get a subpoena out to Stephanie Jones so they could see what was on Jennifer Abel's phone and share it with Blake Lively. So Van Zandt is saying that they're like, oh, we're just a third party here. We know nothing about this. But Van Zandt is really Blake Lively herself because she owns the company. So the way that they're trying to get out of this by not sharing all this information is kind of ridiculous. And I really hope the judge is going to rule in favor of Baldoni here. It wouldn't make much sense if it didn't. Why wouldn't he let them see all this information surrounding the subpoena that started all of this? Yeah, so let's see if we're going to get more information about that this week. Also, James Situshka, remember I spoke about him last week, the Daily Mail reporter who has now said that he was forced into signing that sworn statement that led to Leslie Sloan being part of the dismissal of the lawsuit. He has now gotten whistleblower status and is about to withdraw this statement, as far as we know from sources who know him or directly from him. From Katie Without a Crystal Ball, she reported on this last week, and apparently it's going to happen soon. And that is also obviously going to impact this case on a major scale. And I mean, if James Situshka was subpoenaed, which I think he was, from Brian Friedman and had to tell him the truth, and he had to tell him that Leslie Sloan tipped him off about those mean Justin Baldoni stories, because James Situshka wrote some bad publicity stories about Justin Baldoni with a source or several sources. If that source was Leslie Sloan, that proves that she started a smear campaign against Justin Baldoni even before Blake Lively had filed her CRD complaint or lawsuit. Anyways, the same photographer who sent me the video last week with Jay Leno also sent me some videos with Hugh Jackman. So if you didn't watch the video with Jay Leno, he said that he would not ever have Blake Lively on the back of his bike. He was about to go off riding on one of his motorbikes, and some paparazzis asked him, would you have Blake Lively on the back? And he said, no, anyone but her. So the same guy followed Hugh Jackman around New York. I love his determination to get Hugh Jackman to talk about Blake Lively. So these are 3 times he approached Hugh Jackman during that one day.
Really? Yes, I've got your
Hugh, I just have one question, Hugh. Do you have any thoughts on Blake Lively?
All the best, man. Have a good day. Have a good day.
How did you know that she was going to win her lawsuit, Hugh?
Have a great day, sir. Thank you.
Argentina, Hugh.
G'day, Aussie.
Argentina.
Hey, Hugh, any thoughts on Blake Lively?
Argentina. Way to go.
Hey, man.
Look at me.
Hey, Hugh, any thoughts on Blake Lively winning her lawsuit?
Thanks.
Any thoughts?
Oh yeah, Hugh Jackman heard him. He was not going to give him any comments. I quite understand why he didn't want to do that. Yeah, Hugh Jackman isn't having a great time right now, even though it looks like it's. First, he had this nasty divorce to his wife, Deborah Lee Furness, and she's come out talking about it, how she was so hurt by him and disappointed that he cheated on her. And also, he's friends with Ryan Reynolds, which has backfired big time. He's been really supporting her and Blake, been seen around them so much lately. Not that he's said anything in public about it, but he's showing his support by being there, inviting them to his show, and so on. And that's also maybe why his show is not doing that great. There was a story a couple of weeks ago saying that he's having really a hard time selling tickets to his show. And I think those are the reasons why people don't like him anymore. I think that's so sad because I feel like Hugh Jackman is one of those guys that I actually felt was a nice person. But maybe I was all wrong. As I said before, I also thought that Ryan Reynolds was a nice guy. I've met him many times. I've interviewed him, and he was one of the nice guys. So you could be completely wrong just by having these like short interactions with people and you thinking that they're nice and then they're just really good actors. Good news today is that Justin Baldoni was seen in Disneyland in California this weekend. I think I saw some of his kids in this video, and also his dad apparently was there with him. He was enjoying himself, and this fan took a video of him that I thought was so sweet.
What's his name again? Holy shit, it is him. Oh my god. Hi. Oh my god. I didn't want to intrude. Oh my goodness. Hi.
Hi. Hi. What's your name?
Harmony.
Hi, Harmony. I'm Justin.
Thank you.
Yes. Have you ever seen a celebrity noticing that he's being filmed and then goes up to the person who's secretly filming him and being nice and saying, "What's your name?" and introducing himself? Who does that? I've never seen it before. All I've seen when that kind of happens is that the celebrity just try to hide or run away or kind of get annoyed about it. But no one is doing this the way Justin Baldoni is doing it. I've never met him. I don't know him. I just feel like you can't fake these things. And as we've seen so many times before, and as I've heard, so many people have the same kind of experience with him, even before, a long time before any of this happened. Anyways, Daily Mail did a story saying that Justin Baldoni puts Blake Lively legal feud on pause to awkwardly mingle with fans at Disneyland. I don't think there was anything awkward about that. I don't know if there's any video I missed here. They're not writing about any other video. That was not awkward for Justin Baldoni. That was just awkward for maybe the girl who was filming because he noticed her. But I'm sure she's very happy that he did because she got this moment with him. But why are they saying this is awkward? There's nothing awkward here, if you ask me. Also, I don't think he's putting the legal feud on pause because I do think that this is something that Justin Baldoni is thinking about 24/7. It is horrendous what Blake Lively has done to him and his family and his kids, everyone that she dragged into this. And I'm sure he's not taking a pause. But I'm so glad that he brought his family to Disneyland and now he's back in California. Maybe we're going to see him more out and about. Maybe he's here because of Discovery. Maybe he's here because he's being deposed. I don't know. But at least he looks healthy, which is important, and he's there with his family. And I'm sure there's so many people around him supporting him. So I hope that gives him strength. Regarding that, someone created a new Time 100 cover that I really like. This is so sweet. I found it on Reddit, and they're putting Justin Baldoni on the cover of Time 100 Most Influential, and they're titling it Kindly Revolutionizing Hollywood. Wow, that's nice. That's really nice. We need more people like him in Hollywood. Anyways, I've been digging a little bit more into the legal stuff, and I saw a video where people were discussing if a smear campaign is always illegal or is it in some cases legal? And I've been wondering the same thing actually. Is a smear campaign illegal? And the answer is no, but sometimes yes. Uh, I remember when I was talking to my lawyer when I was suing the Golden Globes, and when I asked him questions, his answer was always, maybe. That's always the answer in all legal matters is maybe. So maybe it is legal, maybe it's not. What makes the difference here is what is behind the smear campaign. So you're allowed to say mean things and bad things about someone in public without it being illegal. You can shape public perception of someone, putting someone up and the other one down without that being illegal. You can also spread only positive content about one person to push the other narrative down. That's also legal, as we've seen a lot from Blake Lively since this started, that there's been so many positive stories planted about her, which is also used for the same purpose. As long as you're truthful of what you believe is the truth, you can say basically whatever you want about a person. What makes it illegal is the intent. So she would have to prove and show evidence of that the reason behind the smear campaign solely was to retaliate against her for the SH complaint. And because she chose to come forward with her SH complaint and that it was a toxic environment on the set of It Ends With Us. She also needs to prove that the smear campaign started right after she made the complaint, the SH complaint, which she never did really technically do because she never filed a complaint anyway. She didn't go to HR. There's no evidence of that. She didn't go to Sony. There's no evidence of that. The only evidence she has is that she wrote these points down that she asked Justin Baldoni to sign. Otherwise, she said she wouldn't come back to work. She was blackmailing him into signing these things. Otherwise, he might have to find another actress. It would have cost him the movie. He didn't have much choice but to sign them. Also, keep in mind something that came up in that NPR interview with Megan Twohey last week. Remember the one I spoke about when Megan Twohey was interviewed and she spoke about Blake and how Blake had told her certain things and told her it wasn't really that bad. She also said in that interview, as soon as the Wayfarer were made aware of this, things changed on set. So she can't prove that things didn't change, which is also a big challenge and a very big obstacle for her. She needs to prove that the smear campaign was retaliatory and not just damaging. And it's going to be hard for her as well now that she withdrew her emotional distress claims because they were very related to the toxic environment and the SH complaints. So the fact that she withdrew them also makes her case so much weaker. But so far, she hasn't been successful in proving anything regarding the SH, everything that she said in her original lawsuit. Justin Baldoni came with all the receipts, as we all saw, and none of these things really seem to have happened. And as we know, there is no smoking gun. As she said earlier this year, there was like, oh, there's a smoking gun coming. There's like evidence. There are other witnesses. No. So basically what she has to do is prove the harassment claims with more than her own words saying that I felt this way. This is what happened. She needs to get backed up by witnesses or other things in writing. And as she hasn't been able to show any evidence of yet, she hasn't even sent one text message to anyone or her friends or anyone saying that she felt unsafe on that set. So I don't know. I feel like she can't win one of her claims and not the other here. She needs to win both or lose both because they're so well connected. And I just don't see any way that she could possibly win any of this. Also, lately, there's been a lot of posts on Reddit about all the backlash that Blake Lively received before the movie or just after the movie started filming or just after she was announced as Lily Bloom. There was this BookTok, TikTokers that are fans of books on TikTok, and they were slamming the choice of Blake Lively being Lily Bloom because they thought she was too old. There was a lot of talk about this.
I'm so disappointed. I was so excited. I'm so disappointed. I love Blake Lively, but this is not it. This was not the right choice.
She's not your Lily?
She's not my Lily. And you said it's the age thing. They call it BookTok, the book-loving community on TikTok, and they are ravenous, I'll put it that way. I think that they're disappointed, and rightfully so.
Blake Lively, if I'm not mistaken, is also a producer. So I feel like
She is, yeah.
that
She put herself in the movie.
Yeah, you know,
Along with her money.
This is a Blake Lively passion project.
Yeah, people weren't having it. And also, they were not having her costumes when it leaked. Some of the photos from the set leaked, and the awful things that she was wearing. Everyone is like, what? This is not Lily Bloom. This is horrible. And they were like, they should fire the costume department. What people didn't know back then was that these were Blake Lively's clothes. And shockingly, as we learned from Justin Baldoni's lawsuit, she spent $615,000 on wardrobe. And they did have a budget for $185,000. So Blake spent over $430,000 too much. She went over budget for those horrendous clothes that everyone hated. I've not seen anyone, actually, even pro Blake Lively people, have defended these clothes. So anyway, she can't blame that on Baldoni, because in the beginning, as we know, we've seen the text messages between them. They were good. They were getting along. They were respectful to each other. Even Baldoni and Ryan Reynolds, those text messages were shared as well. They were also respectful towards each other. So yeah. Anyway, so yesterday I was out having dinner with a friend of mine here in Spain, and she was just working on the latest Johnny Depp movie with Penelope Cruz. It's called Day Drinker. And I was like, what was it like? How was he on set? Was he there on time? And she was like, I adore him. He was such a gentleman. He was so professional. He was so nice to everyone. After the shoot wrapped, he gave everyone a necklace. Everyone on the crew got a necklace from him with a personal message. I mean, who does that? Anyways, as you might have noticed by now, I really have a soft spot for Johnny Depp. I think he's such a rare gem in Hollywood. He has that mystery and magic about him. He has this childish charm about him that I think he's so endearing. And yeah, I don't know if you read that interview with him in Times, Sunday Times last week. He gave a very open interview about what happened during the lawsuit, and if he had any regrets and so on. It's a good read. So if you're a Johnny Depp fan, I would definitely check that out. Anyways, that's it from me, you guys. I hope you enjoyed this episode. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please do, and blah, blah, blah. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss an episode of Floss and Talk. And I'll see you in my next one. Bye.